Okay, welcome to Rocket Slug Gaming. We're playing Starbound in the Frackin Universe mod. So we found a way to make a lot of money in this game using a lot of the special features that are available in this mod. So you'll see here right away we have the Terramart shipments. Now the typical way of making money would be to put produce and things in there and sell it that way. Let's just adjust the volume here. So there's a faster way to do that, and let's take a look to it. Up here we have some solar panels. So that's generating some power, but not all of the power we need. So let's go down here to our city. It's quite a long ways down. So my base here is an underground city. Now these things here are kind of important. We have a watcher, a wire network, I forget exactly what they're called. Those are very important. If I switch on wiring, you'll see there's something going on there. And we have James here making a lot of noise. He's just gonna have to wait. So once we get down to the lab here, you see there's a lot of wiring going on. It's kind of complicated, but I'll show you what's going on here. So first of all, there's some batteries. All of this takes power. These three objects here are batteries. And then we have the generators here. There's three of them here. This one I can never quite find enough fuel for it, so it's not in operation right now. These run on water, which is convenient. This battery is hooked up using those relays to the solar panels on the surface. Kind of a complicated way. The blue is the input, red is the output. So you may notice there's a relay here. The input is coming from all the way up on the surface where those panels are. And the rest of the generators are wired into these batteries, which are wired into each other, and so they all feed the same power source. Then we have Hydroponics Trays, and each of those is operating. So what we're doing is using these Hydroponics Trays, which use power. You just put seeds, water, and they'll produce whatever produce, whatever seeds you put in there. I've chosen wheat and sugarcane because you'll notice those are stackable. That means there's not really a limit on how much can be produced. Otherwise, you can only fit 8 in each tray. But we don't have that problem. I suppose there is still a limit once it hits 1,000, so that would be 8,000, but that's quite a lot. So sugar is also stackable. So that's basically how it works. Now, the long way would be to collect all that stuff and then run all the way up to the surface and sell it in the shipments thing. But then we have this here, which is an item transference device. Now what that does is let you instantly transfer things from any storage. Here I have it hooked up to the fridge. So what that means is, according to the filters that I've set here, this is a little confusing. There's a filter. I put wheat and sugar. So that means it's only going to transfer wheat and sugar. So let's take a bit of wheat from this tray right here. Let's take just 2. Then we'll put that in the fridge. And you see it instantly disappears. Well, where did it go? Well, let's beam up to the surface and see. So our underground city is here. I've made a point there you can warp to. Here we are. And there you go. There's 2 wheat in the Terramart shipments. and we can make a whopping 24 pixels. So let's scale it up a bit. We could just collect everything, stick it in the fridge, and that would be pretty quick. That would be alright. But we can make it even better. Rather than just having the fridge connected to the transfer network, we can actually use this item, which is crafted over here. I believe it's the machining table. Upgraded machining table. And no. Yes. I can never remember which one it's on. Actually, I think it's the electronics center. There we go. Yeah, here we go. So we have watchers. Now if you get too far away from something in Starbound, it stops working until you come back. So this allows you to circumvent that. If you place a watcher, everything within 20 tiles will keep working even when you're not there. So that's vital. Everything has to be covered with those. Wire relay. That's kind of self-explanatory. Then we have the storage bridge. Placed directly next to container to connect it to your item network. So that's the key here. We've built a few of those. And then the other important is the item transference device. So you only need one of these. This is the hub. This is the thing over here. Everything has to be wired into this, and it lets you set those filters. So we've placed one bridge here next to this tray. Let's take a look. So there's wheat being produced here. Now if I don't want to bother collecting it, I can just put this bridge. Let's wire it in and see what happens. So we take the red output from this tray, from this bridge, over to the blue input of the item transfer device. Now let's look inside. The wheat is gone. So if that's working correctly, that wheat should be automatically inside the shipments box. Let's go see if it works. And there it is. And that gives us 84 pixels. Let's go wire up the rest of them and see what happens. And try not to fall to our deaths on the way. Alright. So I went and built a few more of them. So we'll place one next to each tray. It has to be exactly next to it. There's two. I don't have enough yet to link all of the trays, but that'll come in the future. There we go. That's quite a bit. So that'll probably be fairly noticeable. So these are all producing. They're all hooked up to power. My batteries are getting full now because the sun is up. I don't seem to have much trouble powering everything at this moment. So output to the input. All of it's going to the same input. As far as I know, there's not a limit to how many things you can wire to the same thing. Just make sure you keep track of what you're doing. Because if someone else were to come and look at the wiring here, it might be pretty confusing. Or if you simply forgot what you did. Red is always output for anything in this mod, which makes it fairly easy. Okay, two more. Alright, so now if this worked properly, we shouldn't see anything in these trays. Okay, there's something in this tray. Why didn't it work? maybe there's a limit. That one worked. These ones are not working. Alright. Maybe there's a limit. If that's the case, we'll just have to build more. Well, let's try with this one. Let's take it to the second input. There seems to be 2 inputs. See what happens. No, nothing. Alright, well, we'll have to sort that out later. But meanwhile, the fridge is hooked up, so we can do this manually. My goal is to get all of them hooked up to the same thing. That one's still working, so that's good. We'll just collect it manually. Which isn't really so difficult. It's not that much of a burden. I've already produced quite a lot here. Okay, it looks like some of these ones have actually worked. Oddly enough. For some reason it looks like only the growing trays work, but the hydroponics trays are not sending them into the network. Let's do an experiment. Let's take the wheat out of this tray and put it into the wooden tray and see what happens. Let's put all the wheat in there. Interesting. Alright, you see that? It's automatically taking it out of the wooden trays, but not out of the hydroponics trays. Very interesting. It could be just a facet of the mod that doesn't work. So now we've collected everything. Let's go up to the surface and see how much money we made. Now that those bridges are there, I may even be able to seal off that access to the surface to keep with the theme of my underground city. Probably would work. There we go. So we've got 346 wheat and 119 sugar. None of them are worth very much, but all together at 74.73. And as you see, it's actually accumulating as we're watching, because it's automatically being added from down below. That's pretty cool. And that'll give us 7,473 pixels, just like that. Pretty easy. There you go. There we have it. Okay, it looks like I found the solution to that problem where the hydroponics trays were not beaming their resources into the network. Found the solution. It looks like I was all wrong. It's way simpler than I thought. I don't need any of these bridges for the item transfer network. Actually, the hydroponics trays have their own built-in. Actually, all of the trays do. So, you'll notice the tray has a blue input. That's for power, but it has a red output. That is for the transfer network. So we take a look at this tray here on top. It's got 18 wheat in there. So let's take the tray's output, take it over to that node. Boom. Okay, let's go see what happened. And there you have it, it's gone. It works. So each tray has its own output. It doesn't appear to even need those bridges that I made. I tested with one of the ones that's not connected and it worked. So it's even easier than I thought it was. Still a little bit of doing, but not too bad. That'll save me from building 4 more of those things. Now we should have all 9 trays connected to the network. nice and smooth and automatic. I could just sit on the surface and click ship again and again and again. I just watch it accumulate without doing anything until the base runs out of fuel. So if you know an easy way to get fuel for this combustion generator, please leave a comment, because that's my issue right now. I'm using these steam generators. They're doing the job, but I need water for the trays too. Solar power is not cutting it. So tell me what to do. So all those trays are empty, batteries are running low. Should be alright. Nothing in any of these. Let's go take a look at the surface. Beam up there. Alright. And it's filling up. Not sure how often it ticks to fill up. There we go. Some more accumulated. Another 3,000 pixels. Just that short a time. Alright. Well, thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, and see you next time.